I'm Ramzee. I'm a writer artist from London. I do illustrations. I write comics and short animations, and also do a bit of installation work. Everything I've done, comics has been the most thing I've been the most proud of. It was a thing where you have an idea, you follow through into completion, and you're the only one who can do it at that tell your story, and like the sense of achievement in that of telling your story, and yeah. The time that I consider myself a professional was when I was emailed by the BBC to talk about my comics. The BBC contacted me to do some illustration work because they found like an original draft of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and Charlie was intended originally to be a black character. So they were like, can we re-envision him how Roald Dahl originally envisioned him? So I had to just imagine how that character look, and like try and think of like modern like fashion and stuff like that. My honed process, did I say my process? My process is drinking lots of coffee, starting really early, going on long walks, right? You might end up looking a bit crazy to people because like you're imagining, so you look like a bit like Game of Thrones, when they transport into like a hawk, and like their eyes glaze over, so you're like walking down the street like imagining things, and your eyes are glazing over, but you're actually thinking of story. So you might look strange, but it gets the job done. And also I always hit deadlines, because you've got to keep that professional edge. Some people will send an email halfway through going, can I have a bit more time? But no, I'm gonna hit it on the time extent. Yeah. I most admire artists like Jeff Smith, who writes and draws his own stuff, and authors like there's like real like niche. She's a real niche author, but it's Diana Wynne Jones, and she wrote loads of like magic like kids books that were like really creative in how they did stuff. And you check out her books and you see how like J.K. Rowling took a few ideas and mixed them up and made Harry Potter. So check it out. Yeah. The one character I would most like to draw would probably be Spider-Man, because it's a very athletic character. And it's just a fun character to draw, and it's a very like city character, and a bit like a local policeman. Everybody knows him. He looks after a particular area, and also like the juxtaposition with him being a student as well. So you get to see the whole thing of like, oh, I've got to write this dissertation while also fighting crime. How am I gonna do this? It's crazy. But yeah. Who's more valuable, artist or writer? This is the most controversial topic ever. I do both, so if I annoy one person on these things, I'll be okay, because I write and draw my own stuff. But I do think without the artist, you don't have a comic. It's just words on a piece of paper. So I do think artists not only make the ideas into a real thing, but how they do it is what makes it interesting. So it's one thing to visually make something, but you have to also make it look really snappy and cool and like attractive to readers. Marvel, DC, and why? This is even more tough, but I will say I am a Marvel guy, because DC is basically like characters who are basically gods, and people revere them. They already have powers, whereas like Marvel characters start off as regular people and they get powers, and they're more relatable, and it's basically them trying to deal with their everyday life while having to do amazing things. my dream collaborator would be this French artist called Mobius, but he's dead. But also my dream collaborator also would be the artist of Akira is a Japanese comic, and it's got a fantastic artist whose name I cannot pronounce, but he's amazing, the book's amazing, and then if I worked with him, it'd be awesome. Yeah, one piece of advice I'd give to my younger self would be, do it now. Don't wait for times when you think you're going to be ready. I think a lot of artists think that they're not ready to draw a comic, so they'll practice drawing, but I think by making your first comic, it hones your art style to do that. So I think it fits with any artistic practice. Like if you want to be a writer, if you want to make films, just make your first thing and keep doing it, and the more you do it, you get better. My favorite story is A Christmas Carol, I'll say, because it has a character who is really mean, and they're taken back through their lives, and they reflect on their memories, and by the end he's a cool person, and he's learned how to be more collaborative and cool with people. So I kind of like those kind of stories, that instead of stories where people are defeating other people, this is more like a person's personal journey of being a better person, and I think that's really good. It's very Christmas appropriate ending. But yeah, A Christmas Carol, great movie. Scrooge, what a character.